Arachin Daf Chofhei. The difference between a Zdei Achuza and a Zdei Mikna, a Zdei Achuza is a field that you inherited from your forefathers, from Chalukas Haaretz, from the division of Eretz Yisrael, and so is a Zdei Mikna. Zdei Achuza is a field that you donated to the Bedek HaBayis, to the Beis HaMikdash, and a Zdei Mikna is a field that you sold to your friend. If you sell your field to your friend, then you can redeem it and get it back from him if you give him full market value. But if you redeem it from the Beis HaMikdash, you get a really good deal. You only have to pay 50 selah for the 50 years. But every year thereafter, you take off one sell and a pudyan. So if let's say there's only 5 years remaining in the Yovel cycle, you only give the Beis HaMikdash 5 slime and 5 pudyanim. If there are less than 2 years left, then you give the Beis HaMikdash the full 50 selah. If there's, let's say, 30 years and 3 months, you don't get a discount for those 3 months. You have to pay as if you have the full year. So you give them a full selah. Unless it's beneficial for the Hegdish not to count months, not consider months as a full year. What's the case? The case is, let's say you wanted to redeem your field 1.5 years before Yovel's over. In that case, you'd have to pay 50 selah. But if you consider months, the half a year, as a full year, then it's as if you are more than 2 years before the end of Yovel, and you'd only have to pay 2 selah. So that's not beneficial for Hegdish, and therefore we say pay the full 50 selah. Says the Mishnah, in a period of time when there is no Yovel, and somebody was Magdash's field to the Beis HaMikdash, the Bedek HaBayis, he'd redeem it for the full market value. But if Yovel's Noyeg, then even a smaller field than a base kur, we said is worth 50 selah, base kur is 75,000 square amas. So if it's a smaller field, let's say a half a kur, he would give a half a selah per year. This field, if let's say it has small mountains or small pits, they are all buttled to the field and they're considered part of the field. But if they're large, they're more than 10 tfachim or 10 tfachim deep. And another condition, you can't plant on it, you can't plant in it because there's water, then they're not part of the field and they are considered a different field. We take a kur and we say, how much can we plant with this kur of seeds? We said it's 75,000 square amas. Now that's a lot more than a kur of sa'irim, ready-made barley. We're talking about seeds spread out on a larger area. How do you spread it? Not with an animal. You don't put a sack with seeds and he spreads it because that would go a lot faster. You don't spread heavy and you don't spread light. It's a medium spread of seeds. It says in the pasuk, "V'nigra me'erkecha." That is, that we consider every year. It says the Gemara comes to teach us, even in a situation where you were magdish to the Beis HaMikdash, and the Beis HaMikdash, the Bedek HaBayis, didn't use your field at all. They didn't benefit from it. They didn't rent it out. They didn't plant. Nevertheless, every year that was in their possession, we take off a selah and a pudyan. Says the Gemara that you cannot make payments to the Beis HaMikdash. You have to pay it all in one shot. It says es hakesef. It means everything. Anybody can redeem a field, but if the owner redeems it, he has to pay an extra chaymesh, that is 25% what we call today, or 20% the chaymesh milabar. Meaning, if let's say you have 4 years left, you'd have to pay 4 slime and 4 pidyanim. But we make the owner pay 25% of that. So he has to add another sell and another pidyan. But if you look at the total amount, that's 5 slime. 5 slime, what did he add? 20% of 5 slime. So it's 20% milabar, 25% milagav. Says the Mishnah, if a person were to redeem his own field, it goes back to him. Even his son, if he redeems it, it goes back to the father. But that's it. If the person's brother redeemed it, that brother is like a stranger, and when a stranger redeems it, it always reverts back to the kohanim. Why is it that a son is different than a brother? Because a son is instead of his father for 2 things. For Yiyud, if the father has Amay Ivriya, he could be Miyader, and he could be Miyader for his son. And if a person has an Eved Ivri, then the son, and he dies, the son could use the Eved Ivri and no one else. A daughter, although she creates a Ptur for Yibum, if a father dies and he doesn't have children but he has a daughter, his wife doesn't fall to Yibum. Nevertheless, the daughter is considered a stranger when it comes to the redemption of the field, and if she redeems it, it doesn't revert back to her own father. What about a woman who is magdish her field, who gets to redeem it and keep it in her possession? Is it the husband or is it her son? And the Gemara doesn't know. The Gemara remains in a teiku. On the one hand, her husband is the first one that inherits her. On the other hand, the son has a much stronger inheritance. He can inherit his mother even after his mother died. He could be Yarish, Roy, things that are potential Yerusha. So if the mother inherited her father, let's say, after she herself died, it will go through the grave to the son, where we don't have that by the father. A Kayan individual who redeemed the field and went to him, he can't say, well, if I was a regular Kayan with all my friends, I would benefit from this field on the Yovel, so therefore now that I have my hand in the field, it certainly should come to me. No, it reverts back to all the Kohanim. He's nothing special. Which Kohanim get it? The one Mishmar that was lucky enough to be there at the turn of the Yovel, that's the Mishmar that gets to split all the Zdei Achuzas. Have a wonderful day.